Hi guys, it's Macabussy here and we're back with another song reaction, and today we're doing the song When You Look At Me by Return to Dust. These intros are where I normally give you my first impressions of a band, or what I'm expecting going into it. The format that I like for this is I kind of go and I go, here's the song, here's what I think I'm going to get into guys. Now let's listen to the song, I'll talk throughout it, and then at the end I'll tell you if the reality of the song has lived up to my expectations, or if it's changed throughout, or what. Which would be fine if I knew anything about this. I literally can't even remember where I got this recommendation from. I've just got it written down. I've got it written down on my notepad. I don't know where this came from. There's a lot of times where I'm like, this could be anything, and I know it's like a metal song, but I'm like, it could be like any kind of metal song. This could be literally fucking anything. We're just gonna listen. If you haven't heard of them either, let's just press play and we'll see what happens. Who knows? Who knows? It could be good. It could be good. Who knows?
You're leaving for another, and we'll be alone. You're always feeling like beating on my mother, bruises piled upon like shining stones. I notice when you're looking at me.
Okay, so we've got a Soundgarden cover band. Taking those comparisons aside, because Christ almighty does that sound like Soundgarden. The intro riff is pretty cool. It's in 4/4 timing and then like 6/8. So there's like 2 bars of 4 and then a bar of 6/8, I think. We've done funny times on here where it's like 5/4, where it's a beat later than you're expecting, or 7/8, where it's a beat shorter than you're expecting. But this one feels weird, but also not as jarring as those 2 timings, so it still kinda rolls quite smooth. Yeah, so far, instrumentation, pretty decent. I don't like the bass tone. I feel like the bass tone is so fucking deep in the mix that you can't really make it out, and when you can hear it, it's just a bit kinda weak sounding. I think that's deliberate because that's kind of the same bass styling that the grunge bands had back in the day. And he's a good singer. I don't know, vocally he is coming across as quite Chris Cornell. I don't know if he's got the same ability as Chris Cornell, but he's coming across as quite Chris Cornell so far. And yeah, it's reasonably decent. It's been a while since I've heard a grunge song. A new grunge band? I'm into that. It's a genre that needs to come back. I don't like that part at the end of that chorus. I feel like if they had dropped that completely and just went straight back into the verse, it would have been better. It felt like it was there purely to give the singer an excuse to hit a really high note, and I don't think you particularly needed it, to be honest with you. That felt more like vocal wankery than it did songwriting, like more kind of showing off than this actually serviced the song. I think the verse is good, I think the chorus was good, but then the chorus just kind of segued into that without any kind of really dynamic. There wasn't much of a dynamic shift between the chorus and that last part, and the last part wasn't catchy enough to be included as part of the chorus, so it was a bit kind of weird. I don't know, it just felt tacked on. I still agree with what I was saying. So if you'd had the kind of little riff at the end of the chorus gone in, then back into the verse, I think that would have been better. Then when he did that really long Tonight note, and then it went into this next part, it was just kind of chugging, but really there was nothing there. It just felt as if suddenly all the sound had just completely dropped out of the song. I think I'm going to blame that one on the production. I don't think the guy who's produced this has done this band any favours at all, which is a shame. It also needed like an extra guitar line. I think both guitars are playing the exact same thing and they're just playing chugging chords, and it needed a bit more flavour, a bit more depth. I still maintain I don't like that good night section. I feel like if they'd had it once at the end, that would have been fine. Where they had placed it in the song didn't work for me at all. I wouldn't be surprised if their biggest influences were Soundgarden and A Perfect Circle, because the lead guitar has got the exact same sound as the guitar from A Perfect Circle. It's difficult because it's not a terrible song by any stretch of the imagination, but there's also nothing in that song that feels particularly original, and if anything is too close to its influences. So the entire time you're listening to it, all you're hearing is influences that are better than the product that you're already listening to. I'm listening to this and I would rather be listening to Black Hole Sun, or I'd rather be listening to Judith by A Perfect Circle. I don't know, it's one of those things where it's like they're almost good, they just don't have their own, they just don't seem to have their own identity. That kind of makes it difficult to judge them, because I don't really know who the fuck these guys are, other than they sound like Soundgarden and A Perfect Circle. It was fine, it wasn't great. It's nice to hear a grunge song again, but I just wish it had been a bit, I don't know, a bit more original. The other thing is, when you think about the grunge bands, right, when you look at like Nirvana, Soundgarden, Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains, Stone Temple Pilots, they're all grunge bands who sound drastically different from each other. You'd do an amalgamation of those and have like an original take on it, You've got a great band. That wasn't it. That wasn't it. Which is a damn shame. That was When You Look at Me by Return to Dust. I've been Mark Abusi. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and I will see you next time.